Hello, beautiful souls. Today's reading will answer the question, what are your new beginnings? With that also comes endings, but what are your new beginnings that you have to look forward to? So I'm going to get you to go ahead and choose whichever pile that you're drawn to from pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, or pile number 4. If you need to pause the video while you choose, you can go ahead and do that. Just take your 3 deep breaths and just go with it. When I choose a pile and something like this, I usually just do it very quickly and I don't second guess myself. So maybe that'll work for you too. So it's different for everyone. So go ahead and take whatever time you need. Choose the pile that you want and we shall get started. First pile, pile number 1. So pile number 1. What have we got? So prioritize self-care, currents of emotions, caring connection card in reverse, and the raccoon card, resourcefulness. And then of course we've got this card down here, which is the Your Soul Knows card, and we'll save that for last. So in this case, it definitely looks like it's been a tumultuous time for you emotionally, pile number 1, and it's talking about, even some uncontrolled feelings. So things that have been happening around you, those things, it's time for those things to end and time for you to prioritize your self-care. It looks like you've had something going on with the people. Carrying connections in reverse means it wasn't a good situation, whether that be a friendship, a workplace, or a love relationship. Things have been upside down and you're worried about what's going to come next, right? You're worried about, how am I going to do this? How am I going to manage, going forward? And it's saying, that you're resourceful and that you will have all the resources that you need to do what you need to do to resolve the situation. And now it's time for you to move forward and go for those new beginnings. Because look at here, this Your Soul Knows card talks about decisiveness, and it says you will feel better once you've made a decision. And the other thing that I want to do is we want to look at, the self-care, because of all this that you've been going through, it's really, really time for you to prioritize yourself, because you're probably the type of person who would, you ever heard of the people like you feel like you've got a magnet on your forehead for people coming to you and, with all their problems and that sort of thing. And you're the kind of person who wants to help others, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at this point in your life, you've got to go back to, as they say, fill up your own cup and really take the time to take care of yourself and get yourself back. In Chinese medicine, we talk about the qi. So it's like your qi is depleted and it's time to bring it back up and fill your own cup up. Now, when we've got the currents of emotion card here, now this card here, we want to go into a little bit more detail because this card feels very important in the scheme of things and how things have been. It's like this card shows a raging river, right? Which, as I mentioned before, is like it's a time of upheaval in your life. And, with seemingly really strong, maybe sometimes out of control emotions for the people involved. And it's, it's either, like I say, with your work or your family or something that's been happening. But it's talking about how you can handle this by taking a logical approach, which is what the decisions card was talking about, being decisive. Be objective, decisive, be logical, and don't let your emotions get in the way of the decisions that you have to make in this situation. And, it's as if this card represents, maybe that you've been in a situation for a while and it's just become a way of life. But now it's time to step out of that because, it's created, chronic anxiety or depression. just feeling overwhelmed generally, and again, out of balance. So your chi is out of balance, right? And, so the more you are in that situation, the more it brings that kind of energy to you. So it's really, really time to step away from that and start the self-care that you need to heal and to start your life new. This is the time for new beginnings. And whatever way you were reacting before, it was time for you to start reacting differently and, take a different approach to things now, because the way that you were doing things wasn't working. It was just a cycle, a repeated cycle over and over again, until it's just become, you know, just constant negativity in your life. So, it's time to put your feelings out there, but, in appropriate ways, so that, there isn't these uncontrolled feelings or rage or anything like that. And this is just going to allow you to take the action that you need, to honor and process your feelings and get things resolved. So this is a time, coming into a time that you're going to feel more balanced and peaceful, and, look at the situations now with more clarity and logic. So, and, time for self-care, filling up your cup in this relationship that wasn't going well. Like I say, it's really, really time to just move forward and, do things differently. Again, the decisiveness card says you'll feel better if you just make a decision, right? And that is how you're going to move forward and start your beautiful new beginnings in a time of healing and self-care. And just remember, if you're worried about how you're going to do it, the little raccoon tells you you're going to have all the resources that you need, so you can stop worrying. And that is the message for pile number 1. And now we'll move on to pile number 2. We have for pile number 2, regain your focus, up from the depths in reverse, which is also releasing difficulty if it's upright. Happy family in reverse, and fox, adaptability, adapting to the changes. Let's just check this one out here. Creativity, time spent being creative helps you connect to your soul. So what we're going to see here is they're going to talk about being adaptable and being creative at the same time, and adapting to the changes that are happening by using creative means, perhaps. So let's have a look at the cards. First of all, let's look at these 2. We've got regain your focus. So regain your focus. Let's have a look at that one first. So this one talks about, things that are distracting you from your goals. And it talks about Archangel Metatron and how Archangel Metatron can help you to stay grounded and problem solve. So when we're looking at that, it's about, how day-to-day life is just, distracting you from your primary goals and your actual life purpose. And, this card is just here to remind you that if you feel confused, as to your life purpose, and, ask for the signs and the messages to help you remember, because you've kind of fallen off of your path, right? Which this card here indicates as well. And it's just time for you to get grounded and get some focus here. And you can call on Archangel Metatron to help you get your priorities back as a soul and as a human incarnate. So in the book, it talks about Archangel Michael or Archangel Metatron placing this cube shape symbol on your forehead, which is really funny because in the pile number 1, I talked about having a magnet on your forehead. So I don't know what's going on with that message. But anyways, the point of that is to help you to focus and to help you resolve any confusion, right? And get grounded in your understanding. So this is this card in the book, it also talks about time shifting and gifting you with the gift of time shifting. And if you feel like there simply aren't enough hours to complete a project or something, don't have enough hours in my day to do that, it's talking about asking Archangel Metatron to slow down time for you as an individual. And I don't know how it works, and maybe you don't think that that's possible, but I can tell you about a story when I was in a car with a shaman that we were going to a meeting, and we didn't know how we got there in the short amount of time that we did. Like, we weren't late or anything, but as we were talking and we were discussing some rather esoteric things, I guess you could say, and it was about crows. There's a whole story behind it, but anyways, as we were talking and we checked the time, and he said to me, like, how did that happen? Right? Wait, how did we do that? And I looked at the time, there was no explanation for it. So I don't know how it works, but I can tell you that it's possible. Right? So it's they can also speed up time for you, from what I understand, if you need that. So that angel is here to help you to concentrate on things, get grounded, and look at the bigger picture. And that is what you need to do. Those are your new beginnings, right? This is about, how things have been. That lack of focus is ending, and this is how to create your new beginnings. And this card here is in reverse, up from the depths and releasing difficulty. So we are looking at this in reverse, though. So because it's in reverse, it's kind of like a warning that, a difficult time might be on the horizon, or it's already begun. So because we're talking about endings and new beginnings, it's talking about this is the ending of the difficult times and the new beginnings for you. So that's the regaining your focus. Because this card, it also talks about something that, relates to the first card, because, if you've been, giving away your power to others and, being distracted by things like the other card said, or, it's time to speak up about something and speak up, take action on your own behalf. Or it might be that you've been in an unwanted direction personally, and, maybe you've been engaging in patterns that aren't healthy, or, just isolation, or too much of one thing and not of another kind of thing. So the book talks about being submerged in emotional darkness. So that's kind of the whole energy of the card, up from the depths. And it's, or if you've been in fear, and it talks about, now taking control and reversing that direction. And that's, you're ending this time and going into this time. And when you look at all the options and remember your soul's power, you'll then have the ability to choose your own direction now. And, if you need to ask for help, you can ask for help, but, you don't have to live this way any longer, the way that you've been living. And you're not alone. So you can ask your guides, your loving guides, who are there to help you heal and give you wisdom every step of the way, for your every choice and every experience. And, you have the ability to determine the direction of your life. And now you have the power to resolve any problem and live in your true strength and joy, as the affirmation in the book talks about. So whatever's been happening there in that respect now is being turned around. So let's turn the card around and keep it turned up the right side up. So now the next card is it's another card in reverse. And it's the happy family card, but it is in reverse. So it talks about a disconnect possibly from your family of origin, or, if somebody is a friend that's like family, friends that are like family, or actual family, your immediate family. It talks about having been a separation from those people, and, either physical separation or emotional distancing, whatever it may be. And, it's saying, how something is standing between you and these people. And there could even be some hostilities there that need to be worked out. So perhaps, as the book reads, that fences to be mended. That's why there's a fence. Is there a fence? No, it's not. It's a water. It's the water. It's the beach. Huh. And there's a rainbow and the number 4. So the number 4 might also be important to your situation. So mending fences and communication and patience, are what's called for to create those new beginnings with this family. So whether it's, a time of releasing these people from your life, or a time, making that decision, or a time more, to turn things around, would be to open up communication and have some patience, and just to let your intuition be your guide in this situation. And, healing really starts when you choose, to resolve things, to be loving to yourself, and forgive yourself, forgive others. And, somehow, whether you get that love from yourself or other people, you'll find the loving sense of family that you need. So this is the opportunity to turn that around. Can I turn that card around too? I don't like leaving things upside down. And then the Fox card, the adaptability. This is about adapting to changes, and, just knowing that you've got a lot of possibilities as to what could happen next. There's a lot of different options there for you, and it's also about adapting to the circumstances and not trying to make the circumstances adapt to you as well in this case, right? So like with the family card, I mean, it is what it is. You can't always fix everything. You can do the best you can, right? And, just about being flexible. And, again, it does talk about, using all of your life skills that you've learned, not to get stuck in any rigid thinking or patterns of behavior. Once again, if you find yourself there, and getting unstuck as soon as you can, go for a walk or whatever you need to do to shake things up. But, just being flexible right now and adapting to circumstances, like I said, instead of trying to make them adapt to you. And then finally, again, the creativity card. Time spent being creative helps you connect to your soul. So, that's whatever it means for you. Painting, drawing, creating, digital art, whatever it is, writing, baking, whatever, creative solutions. Those things help you connect to your soul. But also in this reading, I feel like it's talking about creative solutions. So it might be not a traditional solution, but something that that you've created to, to suit the situation and the people involved. So whatever was going on before, whatever life patterns you've been stuck in, the things that have been happening, those are going to be behind you. And the help is there, so you can also, like this card said, call on Archangel Metatron and with the cube on your forehead. And and meditate on that, and ask for the guidance and the help to bring you up out of the depths. So that is the reading for pile number 2. And pile number 3. So let's have a look here. And we've got Journey Guide in reverse, got more than the usual amount of cards in reverse this time. You're ready for more. The Garden in the Gate in reverse. Hummingbird, joy, and lighten up, and obstacles are overcome. You can finally move forward. Look at that. So, so this card here, the Journey Guide in reverse. It's about travel and changing location and that sort of thing. But, you know, since it's in reverse, it just talks about there's been a delay, or there could be a delay even upcoming, but soon. So there's been a delay of, you know, either an upcoming trip or maybe a location change. Maybe you've been thinking about moving, or maybe you've been thinking about changing jobs, whatever it is. It's saying, you know, not to give up, continue to make your plans, look at all your options, and consult, you know, your journey guide, if you have a guide, for advice, and asking your spirit helpers to help work on the solution from the energetic realm as well. So, you know, we tend to forget, we get all caught up in the earth plane, and we forget that we can actually, you know, connect with spirit and get some guidance that way. So, and when you do that, you might even be surprised by the bright new locations they take you to, right? So whatever that may be. So, you know, try not to become discouraged, and, you know, because things might get delayed, might even get canceled, whatever it is. Something might fall through, but talks about, you know, your guide telling you that there's purpose to that pause. You know, there's always a purpose to the pause. You might not know what that is yet, but just know that you'll be able to get things going again, and that, you know, it will work out better for you in the long run. That's the first card. Oh, there we go. Second card, you're ready for more. And that falls right into line along with it. So let me just see. So the bottom of the card says, your career is growing and blossoming. Now is the time to make big changes that you've been contemplating. Basically, same kind of a message. It talks about you being in a place of personal power in the moment, and that might not even seem like that to you, but you are. And that it's the perfect time for you to make changes in your career or become self-employed, specifically, is what this card is about, which connects very much so to the previous card. So it's probably what that's in relation to. And, you know, if you're looking for either a promotion or a job somewhere else or whatever that is, it's talking about, you know, this is the time, you know, to go for it. And, you know, things may have been delayed, but new beginnings are coming, right? That's what the reading is for. What are your new beginnings? And if you've been wanting to create your own business even, you know, the stars are lining up for you right now, and you're ready. That's the thing, is that you're ready. But, you know, do the strategic planning and, you know, make the wise moves. Don't just jump into something without a plan in place, you know. Just be strategic in how you go about making the transition. And so basically the card says that this is the moment that you've been waiting for, and moving forward with planning for your big change it's the time to do that for you. So that's wonderful. And then we've got, what's this card here? The Garden and the Gate in reverse, which is a good thing. So when we've got the Garden and the Gate in reverse, see there she's standing, and she has a key around her neck that she can open the gate if she wants to, but she's right now staying in her little safe place instead of stepping outside into the world. And in this case, when it's reversed, it talks about you're thinking about, you know, the spiritual, and how can I combine, you know, regular everyday life and still have my spiritual pursuits. But it does indicate that, you know, the choice to open a door to a more spiritual pursuit is there, and that, you know, you've kind of been tied up in worldly stuff, everyday stuff, and, you know, you're ready to go deeper now. So, and this card here talks about being ready for more, and this card talks about being ready to go deeper when it's in reverse. And, you know, a lot of people think that they can't live in a material world, make lots of money, engage in spiritual priorities at the same time, but now you realize that's not true. And that's your new beginning, right? So you can bring that in spiritual focus into anything that you're doing, really. So when you do that, you'll find that beyond the garden, the universe is willing to fill your life with beauty and joy. And it tells you to expect the unexpected, for joyous synchronicity abounds, is what it actually says in the book. It uses the word joy, and beautifully is followed by the card that means joy, the hummingbird. So pile number 3, like, things are really lined up for you, and it's really, you know, your new beginnings are spiritually based, obviously, but also career based as well. And somehow the two are connecting. And the hummingbird card, you know, talks about lightening up, because you're like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that at the same time, and you're all stressed out. And here comes the little hummingbird to tell you, just lighten up. Just lighten up and feel the joy, you know, that you can. Because what the hummingbird card talks about as well is that, you know, life is meant to be enjoyed, you know, whether you're working or playing or eating, resting, whatever, just being with your loved ones. You know, don't forget to bring some joy into things, lighten up, and don't be too serious. And yeah, it says for sure there's a lot of times when there's things we have to grieve about and be sad about, and, you know, cry about them, release them, let them fall away, and eventually letting your grief transmute into joyful remembrance and warm feelings for who or whatever it was that came before and that you've had to let go. So it's just talking about making every moment count, and finding the joy, you know, somehow, no matter what else is going on, find what joy that you can. And this card here, the obstacles are overcome and you can finally move forward. And this card, you're ready for more. It's talking about moving forward. Just amazing how the cards connect, right? So that is, you know, there's been things that are happening for you. You've been trying to, you know, think that, I don't think I can do this. This is what I want to do. But now the cards are telling you, yes, you're ready for more. Make your plans, you know, don't be silly about it. Be logical, have a strategy in place, get all your ducks in a row, as they say, and you can do it. These obstacles are going to be overcome. Don't be too serious. Bring the joy into it with you, and enjoy every moment of it. So pile number 3, that is your message. And now let's look at pile number 4. Straighten these other cards out here. Okay. So pile number 4. What have we got? Be the real you. Another reverse card. Another balance in reverse, which is centered energy and self-care. And then the thinking man, who's not in reverse, and the links, discernment, look beyond immediate appearances. And listen to your heart. If you lie to yourself, your heart knows the truth. Looking beyond appearances. So this is an important piece, because these two cards are kind of talking about the same thing in a sense. It's talking about, listening to your heart and your intuition, looking beyond appearances, discerning, discernment, using discernment from your heart or your gut or however you want to explain it. Right? So there's something coming up with that. So let's have a look at the others. So be the real you. So this card is basically telling you, as it says here, your greatest power comes from being who you truly are. Don't let anyone sway you from expressing your authentic self. So that is important. So let's see how that fits in with the other cards. So we're talking about the balance card, first of all. This is in reverse, so that means that things are probably out of balance. Centered energy and self-care. Here's another card about self-care. That's interesting. So when we talk about this card being in reverse, it indicates that at least one part of your life is significantly out of balance, if not more than one, but one for sure. And, maybe you spend all your time caring for somebody else, or you're overly focused on your work, or maybe even it's a hobby that you've become obsessed with or something, right? So, if that's how it is, then, it's time to consider more, as they say, honoring options, like honoring yourself and what's best for balance in your life. Sometimes in life, things are going to be out of balance. You have to put a lot of time in, to care for somebody who's sick or something like that. But, you can only go on dismissing yourself for so long before you burn out, which again is similar to pile number one, this card here. So if you were drawn to both piles, it's because there was a similar message. So, when the other thing here, as the book talks about itself, it says, when imbalance becomes a way of life, you invite the universe to totally disregard your needs because you're already doing that yourself. So it's like you telling the universe what you want, right? So it's time to reverse these patterns. And, even if it feels difficult, start setting some boundaries and carving out time for yourself. And, this doesn't mean that you can't go and care for other people. And it's not, love yourself first, that sort of thing in a narcissistic kind of way. Because, we need people that help each other. We need people in the world that care about each other. Volunteers are the foundation of society, especially these days, right? So, there's nothing wrong with, being in service and helping others. But this is just telling you that you've let things get out of balance. And because this reading is about endings and beginnings, this is the beginning of you taking better care of yourself so that you can still give to others, right? Because clearly it's important to you, but also not forgetting your authentic self and yourself overall. So something is definitely out of balance here. So this just means, eat more nutritious food, make sure you're drinking enough water, get the movement in your life that you need. Maybe if you're sitting all day to work on something, get some more movement in your life. Your soul came for a purpose, and part of that purpose is to learn how to love and care for yourself and keep things in balance as you choose your soul's priority, right? So that card is important there. And now I've got the card about the thinking man. And the thinking man, this often represents a teacher, like, that could show up in your life. So someone who could support you in some way. Could be a love interest coming into your life, but it might just be a new friend, but someone who's supportive, but somebody, more importantly, that is meant to teach you something. So could be a new discipline, a technique, a course of study, healing practice, but it's something that could change your life forever, as they say on the card. And, it could be just something that you just need to pay attention, because, this could lead to really big personal and or professional growth. So there's something to this card that you need to look out for that could really significantly change your life and, help you with the details of whatever direction is that you're choosing, whether it's spiritual, mental, emotional, whatever it is, something in your career, whatever it is, that's talking about being able to learn something from this person. Very important. Supportive person, learning from them. But then again, we've got these cards here which talk about looking beyond appearances and listening to your heart. So maybe, you might think that this person isn't there to help you when they actually are. Or maybe, somebody says, oh, don't listen to them. But, in your heart, you're like, nope, I really feel like I'm supposed to spend time with this person, learn what it is that they came to teach me. Something like that. So, but there is a significant person there. He's coming into your life to teach you something. Teach you about love, teach you about life, teach you about yourself, whatever it is. Just use your discernment always, right? Trust yourself in that respect, because we know what's best for ourselves. And if we just sit down and take the time to think about it, it's there. The answers are there. And then, the Lynx card also talks about, also, focusing on the outer appearance doesn't always give you the whole story, right? And it talks about, using your intuition and paying attention to any cues that might lead you to know what else is going on beside the obvious. So, there's more to the story than meets the eye, as they say, and that's why they're telling you to listen to your heart, be truthful with yourself, whether it's for better or worse, right? That you actually know what the truth is in this situation. And one way to develop this skill of discernment is to get away from the noise of your usual surroundings, like whatever it is that you've been doing that's at a balance, it's keeping you busy all the time, that sort of thing. Get somewhere where you can be very still for several minutes, preferably in nature, but the best that you can do if you live in a cold climate, right? And just notice, first of all, the sound of your breathing and your heartbeat, and then be aware of all the things and the rhythms around you. So take note of what you see, hear, or feel without judgment or analysis, and just observe. And if you do this regularly, it's going to help sharpen your senses so that you'll be more apt to discern the deeper truths of any person or situation. So that's a little heads up there for you, something that you'll be working on. And knowing that, life has been out of balance, and you don't feel like you've necessarily been your authentic self to this point, because basically there's probably been a lot going on, right? And that's what you're coming out of. So it's time to turn that balance card around and, learn whatever it is you're supposed to learn from whoever this is that comes in to teach you or help you, give you some pointers, some skills, or just some life lesson, maybe even, who knows, right? But that's coming in, and this is a new beginning. And just, listen to your heart and know that it is time for you to take those steps forward and take better care of yourself and figure out who your authentic self is meant to be as you, still do the things that you've been doing, but in a more balanced way, right? So the common thread that's run through here, one of them is self-care for sure. And, there's been some really tumultuous things happening for people, it feels like, over the past while. And that now these cards are representing you coming out of things, right? The hummingbird, finding joy, being ready for more, finding your authentic self, finding balance, currents of emotion card. up from the depths. Like all of these things are saying, that you're coming out of that now. So whatever situations you've been going through, it's like there's this massive release going on. Seems like for everybody here, like in these cards, in this reading anyway. So, hopefully, if you have been going through a difficult time, that these cards are representative of the good things that are coming for you and your new beginnings. So I wish you all many blessings. I hope this reading helps you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.